All right, we want to take a check of the national gas average for regular gas. We've got it a source to AAA right here on your screen. Current average is $4.97. No laughing matter, by the way, because that is quite expensive.
Yeah, and because of that, we've heard that President Biden is considering now a possible federal gas tax, or rather removing it, or he could also implement a tax rebate, so a tax holiday or a tax rebate for gas. Save you about 18 cents a gallon. We'll bring the panelists back, Scott Walker, Wendy Patrick. Governor, is this the federal gas tax holiday? Is that the right solution? Is that the only solution at this time? Your thoughts on it?
No, I'm all for cutting or lowering taxes for sure. But on this one, the bigger issue is just the whole strategy. He repeated it again yesterday. He said it time and time again that he was going to make this shift, this transition, this necessary transition that he said many times in the past, away from fossil fuels over to alternative fuels. And there's no wonder. He keeps trying to blame the industry, but the reality is they know they're putting pressure to get off of this. And until he makes changes that get us back to the kind of energy independence that we had under President Trump, we're going to see, as Senator Cruz said, probably higher gas prices, as much as $9 or $10 a gallon. The American people need to wake up to that and push back.
And that is just out of the question for a lot of folks to be able to fill up their tank when the gallon costs that much, if it gets to that point. The president was asked about this by reporters. Here's what he had to say, perhaps putting a positive spin on the price. Let's listen.
My dear mother used to have an expression, if everything lousy, something good will happen if you look hard enough for it. We have a chance here to make a fundamental turn toward renewable energy, electric vehicles.
The solution, renewable energy, electric vehicles. Wendy, is that realistic right now?
Not at all. And, you know, Emma, I like the right now bit, because right now is when families are planning their summer vacations. They were going to take road trips. They were going to do things that require filling up a tank of gas. Now, we already know you can't cruise because of COVID outbreaks. You can't fly because of pilot shortages, and you can't drive because of the price at the pump. So he has to come up with some practical solutions. And I say actions speak louder than words. Stop talking and actually let us see those prices begin to come down.
Yeah, Don, I'll go to you on this. I mean, it is just out there. There is no maybe this is the initiative or the purpose behind this administration. It is point blank President Biden saying, hey, here's the time we can switch to renewable energy and get off fossil fuels, electric cars. He labels it out. It is not hidden. There's no veil on it. That is what this administration wants to do. Donna Jackson, talk to me about that.
Well, listen, the market should determine what consumers buy. And the consumers have largely rejected electric vehicles and all of these items that that they want to inflict on the American public. It's all about what the consumers decide.
Yeah, and I think some looking for some relief as we continue to hear from Americans who are just tapping into those savings to be able to afford your groceries and your gas.
What consumers buy, and they've rejected it already. Yeah. But this administration wants to impose its will on the American people by forcing them into vehicles that they don't want. Only 1% of Americans buy electric vehicles, and those individuals are usually white males making over $130,000 a year. That means he's decided that minorities don't deserve to have transportation and their families don't matter.
Interesting point. I mean, the cost of an electric vehicle,
yeah,
anywhere from $45,000 to $60,000, and that's just like you're starting.
Yeah, I think Chevy makes one that is in the mid-range 30s, but again, and a congresswoman, I believe, was pointing that out, Wendy, but and you can close us out on that. But again, that's still out of touch for people. When I grew up no money, poor, dirt poor. We have to buy what you call used cars, and you'd get a car for $4,000 off an auto lot, and it had 145,000 miles on it. That was my first car, a '91 Toyota. I don't know why that sometimes government representatives, they miss that mark, where there are people that still can't afford what you're pitching to them, Wendy.
That's so true. I think your last guest made a great point. You want to go somewhere, run.
Yeah.
Joe Biden wouldn't say cycle there after his spill this week. But that's exactly right. You know, there's such a small percentage that can even afford these cars, not to mention all of the other issues with charging, with them running out in traffic. How many of us know somebody that's been stranded on the side of the road because they couldn't get to the next plug-in station? Not to mention the amount of time, and I'm just scratching the surface of issues. Plus, I think the bigger question is, shouldn't Americans be able to decide what we drive and whether we can afford to buy our own vehicles? So this is just, it's untenable, it's unsustainable, and there has to be another solution the president comes up with.
All right, Donna Jackson, Scott Walker, Wendy Patrick, thank you all for coming on today. We do appreciate it. Always a great conversation with you. Enjoy your day.